Kia ora, good morning and welcome to The Nation. I'm Lisa Owen. Today our multi-party debate in front of a live studio audience. Marama Fox from the Māori Party.
To my babies watching at home.
Gareth Morgan from the Opportunities Party.
Morning.
Hone Harawira from Mana.
Kia ora koutou katoa.
And James Shaw from the Green Party. Let's get started.
We opened up a conversation around poverty that New Zealand politicians have been afraid to get into.
All right, Mr. Seymour. So, do you think dropping the F-bomb this week got you any more MPs?
The fact of the matter is, I'm the only person on this stage who represents an electorate who's well ahead in that electorate and will be back in Parliament after this election. I can't say that for a fact.
All right. Mr. Morgan, your party is on 2% now. It's been that way for a couple of months. Pretty impressive for a first-timer. But have you made a rookie mistake not standing a high-profile candidate in a winnable electorate?
No, I don't think so.
There weren't any winnable electorates for you, mate. That's the problem.
You want to continue, David? No,
There you go.
You've had your time, Mr. Seymour.
We're selling policy here, just best consensus of the policy research and advisory community in New Zealand. That's what we're doing.
Is this the death knell for the Māori Party?
Absolutely not. We're the party of the future. This country's had enough of a red and blue bus that have been here for 100 years under their policies and the system of government that have controlled this country for all of that time. Māori are at the bottom of every disparaging statistic.
Mr. Seymour, you want a 25% tax, top tax rate and a 25% rate for companies. That's going to carve out $5 billion out of revenue. So how are we going to pay for the stuff that we need?
Well, first of all, James Shaw, you talk about my blood running cold, mate. You're not the Green Party leader anymore. You're the Green Party's undertaker, and there's a good chance you'll be gone after the election. And as for Gareth Morgan saying that this is all evidence-based and clever, there's nothing evidence-based and clever about taxing one group of people and giving money to another group that you think might vote for you. That's not original. That's what everyone else does. Come back to ACT's tax policy. The current government is running $20 billion of surplus in the coming 4 years. Now, the ACT Party says if you take something off somebody that's not yours, you should give it back. And we could give that money back without cutting any spending and have a top tax rate of 25 cents in the dollar. And that would make our economy go, that's fair. And but not only would we not cut any spending, that allows for $14 billion more spending in the next 4 years. That means that we give people back the money that they have earned.
So if Labor could only afford to pick one of your policies, what's your favourite child?
I think if you, so what we've said is that for ensuring
For your top priority, your number one policy, you only get one choice.
Zero Carbon Act, so that would make it legally binding that New Zealand would be a net zero carbon economy by the year 2050.
A carbon tax, are you still going to charge, as it was, 25 bucks a tonne for everybody except for farmers who get a half price deal?
We're actually going to release that closer to the election. But what we are zero carbon economy by the year 2050. We under this government they actually rose 17.5% under the last Labor government.
Price deal, Mr. Shaw, and if so, how long for?
So what we're going to do, energy
That's
by 2030.
That's not my question, Mr. Shaw. Are farmers going to get a cut price deal and how long for?
Farmers are going to be brought in to wise.
Same price as everybody else from the get-go?
Otherwise emissions of the last
so you don't want to
answer
answer
and
that
the last Labor government.
All right. Mr. Harawira,
Yes,
you've said that you've got no problem taxing the hell out of rich people to pay for social services. You've got
The funny thing is, neither does Gareth, neither does Marama, neither does James.
So,
it's a good idea.
You want...
Keep our troops in Afghanistan and never mind the kids. Our focus is on housing those in low-income families.
So you don't know how much your policy would cost? Is that what you're telling me?
I can tell you this. It's
Okay,
cheaper
so
now.
you don't
It's
know.
cheaper now, right now, Lisa. To Marama.
The Māori Party wants to take GST off all food. Have you done costings on that?
No, GST, sorry Lisa, let's just correct you there. It's GST off primary produce food, so it's healthy food, it's fruit, vegetables, that type of thing.
So how much is that going to cost and what are you prepared to cut in order to afford
It is going to
that?
cost us the benefit of having healthy families who can afford to have vegetables in their home instead of fish and chips and fizzy. Lisa,
so you don't know how much your policy is going to cost either?
A question about what his number one priority would be. They just announced a $4 billion a surplus in this country, and they say, where should we put it? Put it with the children, save their lives. We need to make sure that the money goes into suicide prevention, into counselling, into mental health, and into healthy food for our families. There's enough money there. They open the books, do it, make it happen. Make it Māori.
Look, this just shows what's at stake this election. None of these guys know what any of their policies cost, and that's the problem that all socialists have, is that they eventually run out of other people's money. These guys want sugar taxes, petrol taxes, income taxes, capital taxes, tax on your house. These guys, if you try to sit, they'll tax the seat. If you try to walk, then they're going to tax the seat.
Why don't we talk to the people in your electorate who are struggling?
I want to read you a quote, Mr. Morgan. It's about global warming. A part of it is probably man-made, but I am sceptical about the degree to which it is dangerous. New Zealand is very much a passenger. We can't have any influence on outcomes. We'll know over time whether we need to act with urgency. Are those the words of a climate change denier, and what would you say to that person?
I would just say that that's probably old, I'm not sure, but...
made the comment that you thought that might be an old quote.
Yeah,
well, actually, it's Mr. Seymour's quote, and it's from his book that's only just been published.
Time has moved on.
I'll have that signed copy now. Thank you, David.
So, Mr. Seymour, are you a climate change denier, and do you seriously think that there is no danger in climate change to us?
Well, you've just read my quote, and clearly I accept that there is danger.
You want a universal allowance. You want a universal allowance. So you're going to pay people a certain amount of money to do nothing?
Yeah, like we do pensioners at the moment, you mean?
No! That's because older people can't work.
Hang on, Seymour.
It's called ageing.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
They also want to lower the prison population by about 40%. Now that sounds like cost-effective governance, putting money into rehabilitation, cutting red tape. Those are all the things that you like, isn't it?
Look, we could save $1 billion a year just by letting all the prisoners out straight away. But we're not going to do that because that would be stupid. The ACT Party has put 3 strikes into law, and it's taken the worst offenders off the street, and that's what New Zealanders wanted, and we've delivered. We talk about housing, it's the number one issue in this election, and we still haven't dealt with it.
Stop question.
I don't even have to look to Marama to say that our kaupapa is based on that relationship building mana Māori motuhake.
To name the one person on this stage that you're prepared to work with, the person that you would choose first to work with. Mr. Seymour.
Marama Fox.
Mrs. Fox.
Hone Harawira.
Mr. Morgan.
I'm having these two.
Mr. Harawira.
I'm having everybody but the guy over there.
All right.
My best
Mr. Shaw. Last word to Mr. Shaw. All right. Thank you all for joining us.